5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now tuned into the 411 podcast and reading Between the Wines, powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network. More than a podcast, this is a sanctuary for self-discovery, healing, and personal growth. Here, we explore what it means to live debt-free, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Every episode is part of a journey across our weekly mentorship series: Spiritual Sundays, Mental Mondays, Transformational Tuesdays, Wind Down Wednesdays, Coaching Sessions Thursdays, and Financial Fridays. Each day holds space for wisdom, clarity, and real conversation. So grab your journal, pour your glass, and prepare to go beyond the surface. Because here, we don't just talk, we transform. And now, here's your guide through it all: entrepreneur, mentor, and founder of Black Diamond Consultations, Laren Gaines.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. Welcome to Reading Between the Wines. So, we had a little bit of technical difficulty and we're here, but still trying to get things a little situated. So, for everybody who is joining out there, thank you so much for joining. If you could please like, comment, share, subscribe, but most importantly, tag a friend, invite a friend, share this video with somebody. And I need to actually pause for just one quick second. I do apologize. We had a couple bumps in the road here, but we're going to get this thing right. So bear with me for just a brief moment. And in the meantime, please try to get people back in. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for coming in. We are getting started. We're going to get this thing into full gear. But in the meantime, please, at this moment right now, if you are out there, share this video with someone, tag a friend, invite them in. And when I come back, we're going to get this thing on in full gear. Bear with me. And welcome to Reading Between the Wines, episode 42. He said I was too much, but I was just too much for him. This 5 restoration, Reading Between the Wines, episode 42. Again, please bear with me, everybody. Just give me one brief moment, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started again. All right, let's get this thing going. I like the music tonight. Can I just say that it has been a journey? When I say this sometimes, I don't think y'all really understand it. It takes a lot just to get to where we are here right here tonight. And we won't get into it. We won't get into it a little bit. He said I was too much, but I was just too much for him. This 5 restoration, Reading Between the Wines, episode 42. This is part of the Wind Down Wednesday, the mentorship series. Today is August 6th. Now, I used to get in trouble a lot when I couldn't get the dates right. So Monday, I thought it was the 6th. Here it is today, the 6th. I don't know. I'm just in this whole different realm right about now. But my mother used to black out when she would ask me what today's date was, especially after I've been in school all day. And first of all, she'd been at work all day, but I've been in school all day. And she would ask me, what was the date? And if I couldn't get it right, boy, did she let me have it. And as I'm older now, I used to think to myself, now I wonder what would have happened if I said, well, you've been to work all day and you didn't know what the date was. But that probably wouldn't end well. I want to give a very special thank you to everybody out there who has been rocking and supporting. And yes, last week we did not do Reading Between the Wines, so we are here tonight. And the enemy tried to keep us out tonight, but we're here. So we're going to make it a very special show tonight because we have to make up for last week's debacle and, of course, our tardiness tonight. But we're going to make up for this. I cannot do this without each and every one of you, but most importantly, I want to thank my higher power. I want to thank God for giving me the strength, the courage, the wisdom to continue to keep pressing on, even all the way up to the minute when I was just basically going to call it a night and say we're not doing it tonight. Things just happen out of nowhere. So thank you, God, for giving me another opportunity. Thank you for protecting this beautiful gift here that you have given me. I want to thank everyone out there from Miss SOS. Thank you, Birdman, for all of the love, support. Birdman's coming in tonight. So many different people. Sophie Davis, Alex Coquito, Onyx Blade. I want to thank my niece Okita. Just so many people who constantly check in, regardless of whether we press play or not. They're always here supporting, and I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Again, everybody out there tonight, please go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend. Also want to say thank you to Love. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you're out there listening. Thank you to all of the people who are interested in coming aboard a part of the mentorship series. So, yes, stay tuned to all of my social media platforms at Laren Gaines. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. I post various content across all of my social media platforms. So, check them out. Different content on different platforms. You never know what you're going to get. And I'm trying not to be long-winded tonight, but again, it's been a minute since I've been out here, and I've had several series of events today that make me very talkative. I also have a great bottle of wine that I have been anticipating, if that's the right word, for such a long time. We're sampling Brambleberry from Hazlitt 1852 Vineyards, black raspberry and red raspberry wine. So we're going to get into that tonight as well. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do a little recap. So last night, I got a little amped up, and I had to basically tell myself, do I apologize for getting amped up? Did I just go in a little bit too deep? Was I a little too harsh with some of my responses? That's, conversations that I have with self. And I explained a little bit about the reason why I kind of get amped up sometimes is because I've been there before, and I try to get in. I try to get in a little bit, but then sometimes I need to get out because it's not for me to force or push, my feelings on anybody else. I'm not here to give anybody any type of advice. I'm just basically giving you my real life experience, and you do what you want to do with it. But what I got out of it last night is that no matter how much money you make, we have to be very careful because here today, gone tomorrow. We really should not rely on one single source of income. We really shouldn't rely on one particular person thinking that they're going to be our end all be all. And that's pretty much what we dealt with last night with Mr. Marcus, making over $78,000 a year in IT support. Nice health insurance plan, has no kids, but deep down inside is living a nightmare. Now, I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience, but has anybody, maybe you're out there tonight, maybe you know somebody, maybe you're listening to this replay at a different time, making a whole bunch of money, but faking the funk, smiling in people's faces, but then behind closed doors falling apart. The sad part about it is that his father told him, don't discuss money, don't talk money, you don't do that. Just like they say, boys ain't supposed to cry. This ain't supposed to happen. You don't do this, you don't do that. So his father drilled into him, never talk money. And because of that, he's experiencing the following, ladies and gentlemen. $14,000 spread across 3 different credit cards, $9,000 on a car note that he doesn't even drive anymore, providing Cash App loans to his friends and don't know how to say no. But yet again, his father instilled in him when he was a little boy, don't discuss money. Well, because Mr. Marcus was not discussing money, something which I like to call financial avoidance, now we can understand that we're racking up over $20,000 worth of debt, smiling in people's faces, falling apart behind closed doors. If you would like to find out how we navigated through last night's assignment, you can go ahead and head on over to YouTube and watch the replay. Audio versions are available on Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, Audacity, and a couple other different podcasts. Basically, wherever you listen to your major podcasts, you should be able to find 411 Podcast Reading Between the Wines. If you are unable to find a podcast on those specific platforms, please feel free to DM me or reach out to me and let me know. 609-200-1098. And we will try to go ahead and get the podcast on your particular platform. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time is here. Let's go ahead and get into the song of the day, Add to Me by Ledisi, released in 2017 off of her album Let Love Rule. So this song, Add to Me, when I first listened to it, the beat was amazing. Now, anybody who knows me, I love hip-hop soul music. So it's all about big beats, make you get the vibe that you're listening to a rap record, hip-hop record. But then, of course, you get the soulful sound. You get the R&B sound. So when this song kicks off, it starts off amazing with big beats. So you get that vibe. But then the message that was in this that I heard, I said, oh, snap. Like, you're really going in. You're letting people know that this is one of those records that's empowering. This is one of those records that is going to help somebody get through and not make a mistake. Fellas, if you have daughters out there, as soon as I heard this, I immediately started texting it to my daughters, like, listen to this song, listen to this song. And it's basically letting you know that after all of the nonsense and all of the drama and the trauma and whatever that you've been through in your life, I'm not going to go ahead and make a mistake by falling into another relationship with someone who's going to subtract from me. So Ledisi is asking, so all of that stuff that you got, the clothes, the jewelries, the cars, the this, that, the next, the other, that's materialistic things. I want to know how you're going to add to me spiritually. I want to know how you're going to add to me mentally. I want to know how you're going to add to me financially. That's what this record is about. Add to Me, 2017, off of her album, Let Love Rule. So after you have been through the drama, enough trauma, and now you're actually drying off from weathering the storm, the last thing that you need is somebody who plays games with your heart. And I'm not talking about the Backstreet Boys. For those of you out there who know that song, Quit Playing Games with My Heart, that's not what I'm talking about. Now, you can talk about the Wild Boys. You can talk about the Hot Girls, Hot Girl Summer, Hot Boy Summer. None of that type of lustful thinking will add to you. It will only deplete you spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. See, as men, we are often too concerned with the outer appearance. And when I say men, I'm talking about men and women, because it started with men first. Ledisi speaks about her mate beating out all of the competition. And yours will too. Because how else do you think that person really got your attention? They obviously had to beat out all of the competition. Think about it. There's a lot going on in our worlds. And in some cases, after all that you've been through, sometimes we say, I'm over it. I'm over love. And then all of a sudden, the clothes, the rings, the nice flashy stuff starts to appear. And then reality sinks in. And then we sit back and we say, wow, someone is actually paying a little bit more attention to me than what normally happens. How did this happen? You get sort of like dumbfounded. Like, how did you get here? Deborah Cox has a song called Nobody Was Supposed to Be Here. You think that you got it all on point because after you've been through what you've been through, you said you're not going to do it again, and this, that, the next, the other. And then you wake up and then you're like, Deborah Cox, how did you get here? Nobody was supposed to be here. This is where we need to be careful. And we need to use our best judgment and ask God to guide us and give us great levels of discernment. And I've often said this before, the first 30 days are crucial. And the thief does not come except to steal, kill, and destroy. So that he ain't coming unless he can do those three things. So we need to pay attention, people. We need to pay attention to what type of flavor are these people kicking in our ear. Rest in peace, Craig Mack. So now that we know this information, like I said before, once you know better, you do better. Let's add value to our lives and not subtract it on individuals who are showing up just to steal, kill, and destroy our dreams, our goals, and our inspiration. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I'm only speaking from experience. Song of the day, Add to Me, Ledisi, 2017, Let Love Rule album. Welcome to Reading Between the Wines. We have a special guest, author Birdman 313, coming in tonight. Wind down Wednesday, and I think it's time to wind down after all we've been through. Sampling, Hazlitt, 1852 Vineyards, Brambleberry, Black Raspberry, and Red Berry wine. So black raspberry and red raspberry grape wine with natural flavors, a bold, semi-sweet infused with mouth-watering natural flavors of sweet tart, red raspberries, and juicy lush blackberries that will brighten any day. It is the perfect wine to pair with chocolate, sip and escape to your serenity. And this one is going to be a sweet wine and it's 11%. So I'm ready to escape to my serenity. I'm ready to just basically pick up and teleport myself to a whole nother dimension at this moment. So let's get into this. So Hazlitt Vineyards, 1852. If anyone is aware, they also make a wine called Top Cap. I had no idea, but this is from New York, specifically around Seneca Lake. For some reason, I was thinking this was PA, but this is actually New York. And the grapes that are included in this is Concord grapes, infused with natural red and black raspberry flavors. Technically a fruit-infused grape wine rather than a traditional variantal wine. The average price of this is going to be about $12, and the alcohol content ranges anywhere between 11 and 11.5. The appearance is going to be deep, ruby, red color, reminiscent of rich berry juice, inviting with its dark, glossy look. The aromas, let me grab my glass here, smells absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say that this is probably the wine of the season so far, the best one that I think that I probably will taste tonight so far, I think this is it just by how it smells. I sampled this wine 2 years ago at a wine festival, but I just can't remember the exact experience from it, but from what I remember, it's something amazing. Wow. When I tell you the smell is amazing, it is amazing. They gave it a 3, but I'm going to give it a 5 just off of the smell. Bold and fruit forward, intense red and black raspberry aroma with lush Concord grapes. Jammy and clearly designed to be vibrant and approachable. The taste, soft-bodied, generously sweet, yet balanced with enough acidity to keep it lively. Raspberry forward with Concord grape sweetness, finishing clean but juicy. Think berries in a liquid form. That's exactly what it smells like. It pairs well when it's chilled, and you can pour it over to make like a spritzer with seltzer water. This is something amazing that I read up and thought was amazing. Fantastic with chocolate desserts, especially brownies or fondue. Try pouring it over vanilla ice cream or use it to replace the water and brownie batter. So people actually buy this, and it's known for people to buy this wine, and instead of using the water when they're making brownie batter, they actually replace the water and they use this brambleberry wine and they put that in their brownies. So you already know what this is about. This wine has won accolades such as double gold at the Big E and a Jefferson Cup Medal of Excellence. Locally famous for being a berrylicious hit, Brambleberry is even used by fans to make bake. Excuse me. I'm gonna say that again. Locally famous for being a berrylicious hit, Brambleberry is even used by fans to bake better brownies by substituting it for water in the mix. Like I said before, this received a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm going to give it a 5. I didn't even taste it yet. A fun, flavorful wine that delivers what it promises. Berry sweetness, best enjoyed casually with dessert, less complexity, more gratification. Community reviews from Delectables describes it as sweet with notes of tarts and lots of bountiful fruit. Great summer wine or with a light meal. Others call it very good, not too sweet and just the right amount of tart. In summary, Hazlitt Brambleberry is bold, sweet, and fruit driven. It it is best seen not as a fine wine, but as an indulgent fruit wine, the kind perfectly for dessert pairing, casual summer sipping, or fun creative uses like cocktails or brownies. The bright berry flavor and approachable sweetness makes it a crowd pleaser. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting ready to go ahead and sample this Hazlitt 1852 Vineyards Brambleberry wine and bring in my guest, author Birdman313. And as I'm sipping this, I will let you know what I feel about this when we get back.
Archman.
All right, this wine is good. I like it. Birdman, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing much better.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Okay, so I will let everybody in on some behind the scenes issues. So I know we're a little delayed tonight. We had some snafus, but Birdman actually helped me get this thing together because I'm behind the scenes, pushing buttons, clicking this, clicking that, basically almost having an off screen meltdown. And then it just started working out of nowhere. Off screen meltdown, stuff ain't going right. This is happening, that's happening. See all of the things that we try to protect you from.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We on now.
We on now. All right. So I know I've been running my mouth a little bit. We delayed. So we're gonna get right on into this thing here. So we've been reading out of this Money Hacks book, and I really do enjoy this book. We get some great information out of this. So anywhere between 1 to 275, what number do you have for us tonight?
84.
84. Okay. Let's see what we got for 84. 84. I forgot to ask you, how's the weather in your town?
Raining.
Rainy?
Yes.
You know, we
rainy
kinda...
and hot. It can rain and it still be 90 degrees.
It's kind of like 80-ish here. I start to see the little clouds this week. So yeah. I will tell you that you sound crystal clear now. You sound much better.
Thank you.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good on your end?
Yeah, everything's good. I really have no complaints because if I did, you wouldn't want to hear them.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that, right?
Yeah.
You said 84?
Yes.
Oh, see how mystical is this? I just want to know how mystical is this? Last week we talked about grocery stores, right? Do you know we speaking about grocery stores again tonight, but in a different way?
Huh?
It's like a continuation of where we left off. So last week we talked about the apps and making sure you have a list. Doing curbside pickup is good because you won't be tempted to pick up extra things in the store.
Yes.
So hack number 84 is shop clockwise at the grocery store. So they want you to shop clockwise at the grocery store. Since most people are right-handed and the store layout guides you to start on the right side of the store and you work your way around you work your way around counterclockwise, encourages you to spend more. I'm gonna read that again because my brain has to, you know, catch up to what this was said here. So since most people are right-handed, a store layout guides you to start on the right of your store and work your way around. Counterclockwise encourages you to spend more.
Mm.
Okay. You're pushing the cart with your left hand and grabbing items with your right since you were right handed. Most people are right handed. I'm trying to picture this. Customers who follow along spend $2 more per trip to the grocery store, according to researchers. So go against the grain the next time you go in the grocery store shopping and navigate the store clockwise. Navigate the store clockwise instead of counterclockwise. It won't be it won't be harder to steer the cart, but you may feel less tempted to pick up extra items when you check off your list. Okay. So now when you go into the store, and that is so true because they have it set up and I'm looking and thinking about when I go to my grocery store, I'm always off to the right and I'm always following it to the right. Right? At least I am.
Can I
But
say something right quick?
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
When I go to HEB with my sons, they always go to the left. And I always thought because their mother is left-handed and one of my sons is left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that's the reason why, because I know when I go in, I go to the right.
Okay,
That
so
makes sense.
that's what they're saying though, but that's what they're saying. See, the way they worded it is so weird. So what they're saying is most people are right-handed, and a store layout guides you to start on the right side of the store and work your way around. However,
Yes.
and that was saying counterclockwise, so going counterclockwise. Oh yeah. So that is right. Counterclockwise, which is going against the grain, which a clock goes
Yeah.
left. If you're pushing up and going right, that's counterclockwise. It encourages you to spend more. So say it again. When you go into the store, which way do you go?
I go to the right.
Okay, so you're
Because
like
you
you're
know
like
what?
well,
Because when you walk through the door, the way the cash registers are set up most of the time, it guides you to go to your right.
exactly. So you're saying
And
you
so but the HEB that I go with to my sons in San Antonio,
Mhm.
we end up going straight left because you see the produce. The produce is normally on the right side in more stores,
Yes.
but up there the produce is on produce. Yeah, the fruits and all that. Yeah, it's on the left hand side.
Okay. Okay, now I get it. So when you go to the left, when you go to that store,
Yes.
technically you would spend less money than somebody who starts at the right. So that's basically what this is saying. Anybody who goes into a store and they start going to the right, you're typically going to pick up something extra and spend about $2 more than the average person. So now that we know that, ladies and gentlemen, when you go into the stores, go to the left. Think about Beyonce to the left when you go to the grocery store.
Oh man.
That's the only way I could think about it. And trust and believe when I go into a grocery store, I'm gonna be saying to the left, to the left. Absolutely. Because normally when I go into my grocery store, I go right to the right and it's a setup. The produce is right there, just like first of all, it's the bakery, the produce, all of that stuff is right there.
Yeah, but HEB is set. The one in San Antonio, the one we go to, is set up to go to the left unless you just want to go by all the cash. You know what? the yeah, I think all of them like that because even the one that's here, when you go in there, you'll go to. It depends on which door you go through too.
Now, what
I
is
should
it?
I should say that because I know the one here has like one, two entries. So if you go to the right, you're gonna go to. If you go in on the right hand, you're gonna go in right. If you go to the other end, you're gonna go left.
Mm,
But I know the one in San Antonio because we always go through the same door and out the same door. And when you walk in, you're going to the left. The one, and I think all of them is made like that where they have two entries. And it depends on which entry you go to. Because if you go through, like I said, you go to the far right, you can go to the left, but you're gonna start off going to the right. And then if
mm.
you will go to the other entry, you're gonna go to the left.
Now, what is HEB? What's that stand for?
That
Or we don't. It's just HEB. That's just what it's called. Like a. Okay, so we.
okay. Diana says it's Herbert E. Butt. It's one of the biggest chains in Texas now. It's named after I guess the guy who started it. And it's one of the biggest chains, man. It's to me, it's bigger than Kroger's.
Yeah, I heard of Kroger's before. Yeah, I used to work for a company that we did secret shopping across all different stores, grocery stores, and Walmarts, and all of those things. So Kroger's was big down south. So I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah. Well, HEB, like I said, it's one of the biggest chains in Texas.
And I think I remember seeing that come across my computer when I was in that environment. But
Yeah. And
yeah.
if you watch any sports team from Texas,
Mm-hmm.
mostly like in the Houston area, I think in the Dallas area, you gonna see HEB. HEB is real big down here. I'd rather go to HEB than to go to Kroger's.
Mm, okay. All right. So we got our grocery our
Yeah,
grocery lesson for tonight. We have Aldi's, Lidl's, ShopRite's,
yeah.
Acme's. We have Wegmans up here.
Uh, okay.
So yeah,
We yeah yeah.
there's also ones that I've heard of before. Piggly Wigglies. I heard of Winn Dixie before.
But those are not so. You know what? Those it used to be like that back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. They kind of like them phased out in the
Mm,
90s. But
okay.
yeah, they're not as popular. That's why I said HEB is popular because HEB popped on the scene. Like Randall's, Kroger, even Randall's is faded here. We have Kroger's, we have Aldi. They just too doggone expensive.
Which
But
one?
Aldi,
Really? Oh
ALDI.
man, that is crazy because listen, up here that's like the cheapest thing. I'm not gonna say cheapest, but it's the best value that you can get in a grocery store. And some people will frown against Aldi, thinking, "Oh, you shop at Aldi?" They'll give you that look like that.
Well, I know here it's expensive, and the selection is and I know even when I went home back in Michigan in Benton Harbor, I went to Aldi's that was right around the corner from the hotel. Man, I got up out of there, man. I'm like,
What?
oh no, I'm like, no. Their selection was real thin.
Yes,
Um,
it is. It is.
I
Uh-huh.
know we went to the Aldi's in Florida a couple of times, and I'm like, man, this is crazy for the prices you paid for.
I don't get it because let me tell you, when I go out of town, I'm
Uh
like,
huh.
okay, listen, do they got an Aldi? Do they got a Lidl? That's another one, Lidl, Aldi. Like when I pick my vacation destinations and I be looking, especially when you have to do home cooking and stuff,
Yeah.
find me a Aldi, find me a Lidl.
Yeah.
Because when I go to grocery stores out of the, like, sometimes I'll be going to these ones, just like the ones you're naming. Like, I could easily go on vacation in your area and be like, what the hell is the HEB? And walk in there and be lost. But
Yeah.
if I go to an Aldi, I'm gonna know where everything is because the layout is the same, and I'll be able to get what I need to get and get out of there.
Because like in California, what's the name of that one? Go to it's one out in California that has connection with Kroger's. Ralph's. It's
I've
called
heard
Ralph.
of that.
You'll see
Yes.
that in movies and stuff.
Yep.
And whenever we go to California, that's why I go to Ralph's because they're part of Kroger's.
Well,
So yeah, they part of the chain of Kroger. So I hit a Ralph up in a heartbeat.
I'll tell you my experience with Ralph's. Last experience with Ralph's, I was in Palm Springs, and it was expensive as I don't know what.
Really?
Yeah. I'm so surprised that you think that Aldi's is like expensive. That's
Well,
interesting.
that's just the way it was here, man. I mean, hey, Aldi was excuse me, man. I guess it was the people that was off in there, the way they looked at you when you came in there, and they was very limited with their selections too.
Yeah, that I will agree with. Yeah. All right, we got our round lesson
Yeah.
for for supermarkets. All right. So yeah, that's from the Money Hacks book, 275 ways to decrease spending, increase savings, and make your money work for you. And also, before we move on, I want to talk about that counterclockwise thing for people who are anyone out there who's anything like me who loves amusement parks. They always say that if you want to get on all of the rides and be able to get the maximum experience at an amusement park, do not go to the right. Like most people, like we talk about the grocery stores, do not go to the right. You want to go against the grain and you want to go to the left. If you walk into an amusement park and you walk to the left and you hit up every single ride to the left, you will be able to experience more time than versus the person who goes right.
Wow.
Useless information, and I'm sure that nobody would enjoy unless they are an amusement park enthusiast like I am. So there you go. If you go to Disney World, remember, like Beyonce, to the left, to the left. All right, so let's get into tonight's assignment. So we're going to be helping Miss Tina from Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to anybody from Ohio out there. Miss Tina says, "I am writing to you from Cleveland, Ohio. Writing to you from Cleveland, Ohio. I dated someone for almost 3 years who constantly made me feel like I had to shrink to be loved. If I expressed myself, I was dramatic. If I had standards, I was ungrateful. If I wanted affection, I was needy. The worst part, he gaslighted me into thinking I was the problem. I started questioning my worth and I began settling just to keep the peace, but peace never came. One night I looked in the mirror and realized I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I finally left. I've been single for 7 months, learning how to date myself again, but I'm scared. I don't trust my own judgment now. How do I rebuild my confidence and be how do I rebuild my confidence without becoming cold or guarded? How do I trust love again without losing myself the next time? We're going to rewind this thing again. My name is Tina, 29, and I'm writing to you from Cleveland, Ohio. I dated someone for almost 3 years who constantly made me feel like I had to shrink just to be loved. If I expressed myself, I was dramatic. If I had standards, I was ungrateful. If I wanted affection, I was needy. The worst part, he gaslights me into thinking I was the problem. I started questioning my worth and I began settling just to keep the peace, but peace never came. One night I looked in the mirror and realized I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I finally left. I've been single for 7 months, learning how to date myself again, but I'm scared. I don't trust my own judgment. How do I rebuild my confidence without becoming cold or guarded? How do I trust love again without losing myself the next time? All right, Birdman, what do you have for us?
Well, I think we all been through that. I can say that much. At least I can say I have been. And I was thinking about, she said, if I express myself, and this is from being a counselor view. And I'm gonna tell you also, this is from the streets too. It depends on how a person approach you. They approach you in a threatening manner, a loud manner, disrespectful manner, then you're gonna throw a shield up and you're gonna protect yourself. By her being 29, I'm quite sure the way she approached the person, especially him, because they've been together for almost 3 years, it wasn't always a calm type of approach. That's just voice of experience that I feel. And, then she said, if I have standards. So by now he doesn't know your standards. Something is wrong. He wasn't paying attention to him, or you weren't paying attention. He wasn't paying attention to you, and you weren't paying attention to him. Because we all have standards, and we all should respect each other's boundaries and grounds. That's how I look at it. And I'm quite sure there's people out there that no matter what they do, the person is going to disrespect them in some kind of way, especially if it's out in public. Now, when you're out in public, I always say, just don't show off, because then that tells me how you really are. And then I wanted affection. And that was that one there was kind of like, okay, so when you said you wanted affection, how did you approach him? Again, it's like the first one, how, expressing yourself. How did you approach that person for the affection? Was it doing what? Excuse me. It always come back to me is, when y'all at home, do y'all talk? Do y'all hug, kiss, say I love each other? Or you don't even have to say all that. Just, what do you do? And I know a lot of people, they just feel like just hopping in bed. That's it right there. That's affection. And a lot of people just don't get it. It's not just hopping in bed. It's about other things. And she's saying that she's scared to get back out there with. She has to find somebody and at least talk to them and try to see if they're on the same level as she is. And it's not about money. It's not about money all the time. Because if you find somebody that it's about money, then you already know you're gonna get disrespected. that's just it.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
Yeah,
I was waiting for you to make me laugh, and you did.
yeah. Because like I said, I've been in that situation, and I've gone through that situation before, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until, and it was all about money. And they just told me the only reason why I left Michigan to go with you to come down here, our hometown rather, is because, and I wasn't aware of this. All the guys she dated wanted to just stay in our hometown, and I didn't realize. I'm like, well, damn, how many guys you dated? I always thought it was just me, but the whole time she had been lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why when you mentioned something about the money thing, and I'm like, oh man, this is it just brings back that thought. She needs to. She said 7 months. Okay, she's getting it together, and she's really thinking about, okay, the next person I've had females. I heard them say this, or I heard dudes say that when we been, when when have been talking to them at work and stuff. The next person has to do this, and I tell them it ain't gonna work if
Hmm.
you put that demand on somebody. You gotta let it flow, and that's why you talk to people, you find out what it is. You just don't jump in bed right away, cause again, when you jump in bed right away, then there's no such thing as him expressing or him expressing to you or you expressing to him the way both of y'all want. I'm gonna
Mm.
let you talk now.
Yes. Listen, this is interesting. You just said a couple joints on here. I heard "Let It Flow," Tony Braxton. That's what I thought of.
Yes,
I spoke about last night, making people pay for other people's mistakes, baggage by Mary J. Blige. Yeah, I see that. That's what that is, all wrapped up in here. Now, 29, Cleveland, Ohio. You dated for someone for almost 3 years. 3 years that you have been in this relationship and constantly been made feel that you had to shrink yourself in order to be loved. So basically, it was his way or no way.
yes,
That's interesting. If you express yourself, you was dramatic. I wasn't really bent up on that one. If you express yourself, okay, he says that you're being dramatic. All right. Not that that's not a good thing, but it's also not a terrible thing. But the one that really got me was the second one. If I had standards, I was
yes,
I was ungrateful. But let me back this up. If I had standards, so what you're saying is that you didn't have them, but then when you did try to have them, you were ungrateful. Now, that's from a lack of not having any standards at all. Because if she had standards, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
exactly.
And that's the biggest thing. And that's for anybody. That's not just Tina. This is something that I had to learn myself that when you have standards and you have boundaries, that's exactly what that means. When you tell someone no, when you tell someone go, when you tell them whatever it is, if you have standards, it's the end of the game. We don't need to speak no more once you cross that line. Now, what typically happens is we get wrapped up and trapped up, like you said. People start jumping in and they do that bedroom action from day one. And then typically someone will disrespect the other person or overstep the boundaries or whatever they do. And then we say, oh, that's okay. Please don't do it again. And then when we do that, we're backing up and drawing another line in the sand, allowing them to just come forward even more.
Yeah,
Back up, draw another line in the sand, allow them to push forward even more. So that's the one that got me. And then this one here, if I wanted affection, I was needy. What you said was a whole lot like, what is it like? Do you guys hug? Do you guys kiss? Do you talk? What happens? The fact that you want affection and then now he probably just like, come on now, you're doing too much. you doing
yeah.
That's something else, man. That's craziness right there. I don't get that.
But you know what? And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about this. Most of the young people now, and I'm like, I'm not including every young person, but most of them, hey man, if you sit back and you talk, a lot of them is like, well, when we meet, they want to go to bed, you know. And I know, the reason why I say this, that's just like, I do poetry, and I've had females who said, "Oh, your poetry made me just want to go straight to bed with you, not even get to know you." I've had that, and I'm like, well, that ain't me. I'm in like, I like to get to know the person first, and that's just being an older person. The young people, when they say let's go to bed, oh, they like, man, they can't wait to get behind closed doors, and some of them don't even get behind closed doors. You know, it's just it's a different time now. Because I looked at her age and I said, okay, 29. You know, and I remember when I was that age, and I played semi-pro basketball, and I used to go to the clubs that a lot of professional athletes own, and walk in there, and you walk in there, and you can feel the stares, and then you'll have one female that'll walk up to you, sit next to you, and talk to you. And I never forget me and a friend of mine. We walked into this club. It was owned by a professional football player, and this chick came over, sat down, and she got to talking to us. And he was like, "Hey man, what is it? She want both of us or what?" I said, "I don't know, man, but you can have her." I didn't like the conversation no way. And he was like, "Oh man," he said, "I don't want that." And she told both of us right there. She said, "Whoever can get me the cocaine, you can have me for tonight." And yeah, I was like, "Nah, that's all right." But then I'm not gonna mention these play. I ain't gonna mention these two people' name. One of them I know very well because I played ball with him back in Michigan. I ain't gonna say the city because people gonna kind of know who I'm talking about. They walked into the club, and so when because I had tried out with the Lakers, I had knew some of the players, and they were like, "Hey, what y'all you down here?" Now? Yeah, we went to but it's the private room. We went in there, and it's like the quiet room. Drinks. You have people actually serving you. You don't have to get up unless you gotta use the bathroom. And that same female came back there, and one of them played professional football, and one of them played professional basketball. And they got to arguing over this female. And somebody said, "Damn, man, ain't you married?" He said, "Man, that bitch is at the house." Just like that. And I was like, wow. And then then this female got up. She said, "Hold up, you married too?" So, and then he didn't say nothing. And this person here said, "Hey man, when you come outside, I'm gonna do this and do that to you." His teammates was there, and they said, "Look, man, so you need to go home because if you don't, no one gonna see you again." The owner found out about it. He came back there and he said, "Hey man, I ain't gonna have this tonight." He said, "You know how she is. Every professional athlete that come through there, she had no standards. She had none at all." And so, like, he split them up. Matter of fact, he told the one that started, he had to go outside. He couldn't even come. He couldn't even come inside this where we was at. We sit there and we party and stuff. Then I'm like, what? It's time for me to go, man. I done seen too much. And it was like I said, most of the clubs that I went to. That's how it was, and that's why when I seen that, she said her standards. It's like it depends. First impression is the best impression, and if you show somebody on your first impression, you have no standards. This is how they're gonna treat you.
Yeah, or now maybe she did have the standards and she thought that she had some, put it that way.
Oh yeah, okay.
She attempted, she tried. Now there are some people, like I said, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Some people can see, oh, this person, they have standards, they have boundaries, oh, they think that they're something, they think that they're this, they think that they're that. And then they might take it as a challenge and say, I'm gonna see if I can break this person down. And from this, that's what I get. He probably said, "Oh, this is a nice person. She won't put up with this. She won't put up with that. Let me continue to keep working at her. Let me keep chipping away at her and see what I can get away with." And then that's why she's saying this type of stuff. If I wanted affection, I was needy. He gaslighted me into thinking that I was the problem. Then I started questioning myself. Once you start questioning yourself after you said what you would not put up with, what you won't do this, you won't do that, and then you find yourself doing exactly that, then you will start to question yourself.
Exactly. And then she probably, and it's another thing too on that end is he probably heard some things about her, and he probably just said, "Oh, all of a sudden you want standards?" Because I mean,
Mm,
and like I said, I've seen it where guys say, "Man, you know what that day, you could do what you want," and they letting you know how that person is. And like I said, now man, young, I hate to say it, man, 35 and younger, they have they have no standards.
mm,
They have no respect, and like I said, they think, and I always say this, when you argue with somebody or you gotta scream and holler, that person that you're doing that to, they don't hear you. They don't hear you, man. They just, you doing all of that and nothing can get established. What she said she wanted to express, how she want to express herself. But then, like I said, how you approach somebody.
mm.
If you approach somebody with a calm voice, then, 9 times out of 10, you can get a conversation. The person gonna listen to you. But if you go there with the, hollering at somebody,
Huh,
talking
interesting.
nonsense, nobody gonna want to hear you.
I always used to say my message was clear, but my delivery was horrible. So the message that I was trying to tell you and that I was bringing to you, it was crystal clear. Like
Yeah,
the stuff that you was doing that caused me to black out, like you know that it was wrong. So the message was clear, but how I gave it to you, now that was horrible on my part because I didn't know how to speak to people like they had some sense. Like I had some sense. I didn't know how to do it. So I would black out and start screaming and hollering and yelling and doing backflips. So I came up with that little quote for myself. My message was always clear, but my delivery was horrible.
right. And that's basically what I guess that's what I was trying to say altogether. Because even on the streets, if you're on the streets, everybody know from on the streets to your family to your friends. If you speak to somebody in a harsh way or loudly, 9 times out of 10, they are going to protect it. They're going to throw up that boundary of, okay, what is it you want to do? But if you
Mm,
go to them with a calm, like you said, delivery and use the right words, they'll sit back and listen to you. But if you approach them, harshly, they're gonna say, "Why you so dramatic? Oh, you
mm,
just dramatic." And I trust me. I mean, maybe I just was in the wrong places, but I've heard some of these youngsters. I've seen on TV how they be acting. I've seen, just being out, you know, just screaming, and hollering, and cussing at somebody, and you know what? That's not gonna get you nowhere.
yes, I know that's right.
And don't get me wrong, old folks do it too. But after a while, they realize they might, man, you know what? I done blew the best years of my life
Mm,
doing it this way. It's not working. Let me do it this other way. And then they be like, oh man, I wasted all them years with this approach and it's gotten me nowhere.
I saw a great meme. Chucky from Child's Play, right?
Uh-huh.
So he was sitting on a beach, and the meme says, "When you used to be crazy, but now all you want is peace."
Yes.
I said one day I'm gonna post that because it's so true. Like that's how I used to be. Like, but now all I want is peace. Don't come over here with all that today. I got time for it today. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you today because I've done so much of that before in the past that today all I want is my peace.
Right,
But
right.
I thought that was so funny though when I saw that. The caption said, "When you used to be crazy, but now all you want is peace." And it's Chucky sitting on the beach in his lawn chair, laid back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, that's like that's why I say when I write my poetry now, I try to write it in a calm. Don't get me wrong, there. I have some old stuff, man. You be like, oh, this is the same guy. Is this the same guy? You know, I've learned that I didn't have the right following, if you want to call it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as I changed to being calm and relaxed, 'cause I mean I'm gonna tell you something. I had a minister. We had a that was just an internet channel, and and he asked this one lady. She said she knew me from back home, and I told her I don't remember her. I don't remember her at all. And she said, "You used to be on the basketball court all the time." I said, "What that's supposed to mean?" Just because everybody knew that I was always on the basketball court. And she said, "Oh, guess what? This person asked me." I'm like, "Well, why should I guess when you're gonna tell me?" And she said, "He said that when you read too calmly." He asked me, "Was you high when you be reading?" And I'm like, well, he got a lot of nerve. I said, he's a minister, or he called himself a minister. You go to his apartment, he got weed, he got weed plants all in his apartment, and he's smoking. you know,
Wow,
and
wow.
yeah, and I'm like, I said, he got a lot of nerve to say that I read too calmly. And
He
we
was trying.
had
He was trying to
no,
say
we
that.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something funny. He was trying to say that you read too calmly because he actually needs all them weed plants and everything in order to be calm. You just did it naturally.
Yeah. and so and so like he was like, "Hey man, let's do a let's do a CD with your poetry." And I'm like, "Okay." He said, "But you ain't gonna be reading it." He said, "It's gonna be my wife reading your poetry." Well, everybody back home know how she was, loud mouth. Oh, I mean, she wanted to be seen, loud mouth, loud mouth. And I looked at him. I said, "Nah, man." And I said, "If I find out you did one without my permission," I said, "you don't have nothing now." I said, "But I'm still gonna sue you." I said, "Because nah, man." I said, "You're not using my poetry for your wife to read because she's a loudmouth."
Mm. I wonder if we know this same
Not a
person.
nerve. I'm like, "Yeah, you right, a nerve." And I said, "You're not using my poetry for to benefit you."
I
Well,
wonder if we know this same person.
huh?
I said, I wonder if we know the same person.
Nah, I don't know. It might be, but actually, she's my cousin too. So that's why I say I knew her when she was in school. All during school, she was a loudmouth.
Mm,
People didn't like her because she was a loudmouth, and she talked plenty of noise. But because her brother always protected her, she would talk so much junk. And
mm,
I just told both of them, "Nah, man." Um, came, eventually I got away from them. I said, "Nah, you're not the type." And then there's a guy up in Austin, and he pulled me aside one day and he said, "I've looked at your books," and he said, "I've listened that you read," and he said, "Tone it down some." He said, "Cause I see some poems in there that where you're I like them," and he told me which one they were. So I started going with that flow. Now, when I go to Austin, I don't care when any reading, he would say, "Hey," he'll call me up and say, "Hey, I need some features. They need to be on the radio." He'll call me up, "Hey, we're gonna be on the radio. I'm calling you up, see if you want to get a spot on the radio to come and read." And I'm getting them opportunities now. When I go out in California, just one place, the guy said, "Oh, you from out of town? Even though we got a featured reader, you can get up there and you got 10 minutes. Everybody else got 6. All the other poets have 3 minutes." He said, "No, no, no. You have 10 minutes." And I can be reading, and then I'll look over at him. He said, "Oh no, read another one." I'm like, "Okay then." And every time I go out there, it's somebody coming up offering me. That's when I was drinking. "Hey man, I'll buy you a drink." And people be offering me drinks. They say, "Oh, we like what you doing." It's because I don't. What you done heard me. I don't scream and holler. Don't get me wrong. I tried it. It didn't work. So I just stay with the calmness. And
Oh,
that's
I know what you mean.
that's why I said with her, when she wants to express herself, and it's probably, man, got a hand on her hips, and she bobbing her head, and she talking loud, and he don't want to hear all that. He don't want to hear all that.
Oh, yes.
I figure you laugh on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Well, here's my take on this. After all that we heard, we know that it's a lot going on, and
Yeah,
now she says she's been single for 7 months, learning how to date herself again. Now, sometimes 7 months ain't enough. Like, hell, I think a whole year, that's just enough for you to get free from what you've been through and to like establish everything and to figure out, okay, what the hell did I just come out of? You need a whole year. My girl Mary has a record called Whole Damn Year. Sometimes you need a whole damn year just to be like, what the did I just get out of? And then after that, as you replay it and as you put it in order, then you can start to heal.
that's
And,
true.
and I feel that here you are trying to date. I don't know, a lot of people that write in, they just, and I can't say anything because I used to be this person. Soon as I get out of a relationship, listen, the next hour, I was already on the apps. The
Yeah,
next day, I was already wrapped up into something. So
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Now that I actually did it the right way, thank you to the most high, because he said I'm gonna shut it down so you can figure it out on your own, because you keep doing it your way, it ain't gonna work. But I have been single for, what is this? It's about to be about 5 years now. So
Wow.
yeah, the longest that I have been. All my life, I've been jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship. And 2020, all that got shut down.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, being a counselor, that's one of the things we advise people that's getting out of a relationship like that. At least a year, if not longer, because then you really get a chance to learn yourself. But
Mhm.
7 months, because all you're gonna do is get right back into the same old issue. You're gonna get right back to that person that you
Mhm.
was with, and it's only natural because you see it time and time again.
Absolutely. Now here's the thing. Now I've been single for 5 years. Now I didn't say I was didn't date, and I haven't been uh dibbling and dabbling. But
Oh, I understand.
let me tell you though.
Yeah,
But because of that, now when it comes to standards, I know what standards and boundaries absolutely mean. Now
right.
I have tried it, but as soon as something shows up that reminds me of the mess that I've been through, I'm like, oh no, 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 back this thing up. And then that's why I'm like, all right, that's good. So we're not settling today. So
And I was gonna say, I have gone through that same situation, and when I say I'm dating, then that means That don't even mean exclusively, because man, that's
Mm.
how I look at it. Because you can be dating somebody, go on a date, and you try to figure them out. Because I mean, I've been out on a date, and I'm like, should I find the back door? you know, I'm talking about now, and I realized right then. Or like I said, when I played ball, it was always females trying, and I'm like, I was married, and I'm like, nah, we don't care nothing about you being married, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's just and I'm like, okay, I can see you don't have no standards, done. It's gonna be a headache with you, so nah, you know. But then when I got out of my marriage, I had my own spot, and people would say, "You don't have nobody." I'm like, "No." I said, "Not, no. I don't." I said, "Because I don't want to be with nobody. I'm trying to get my life cleared up because my past is been, because like I said, I missed a whole lot of opportunities, and I'm like, I blew a lot of opportunities, and I said I don't want to do it again. So therefore, I'm just backing away from people, and I'll date. And if it didn't go well, we was done.
I know what you mean. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm at right now here today. Cause like, nah, I come too
Yeah.
far. Come too far.
Yes. And like I said, most people now, man, it's like, you know, jumping in bed, and that's not a relationship. That's not a relationship.
Nah, you do it the back. I call that doing it the opposite way. We talked about clockwise and counterclockwise.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
good scenario because I would handle that part first to be like, all right, I would test the waters to see if it's what I like, and then after that, now you're trying to get to know the person after you already done took it there. Now we done took it
Right.
there, and now I'm trying to get to know you. Now I'm trying to mash it up, and now I'm trying to make it work and make it become something, but the connection was never there. So now you're trying to
Exactly.
make something something that's not, and it's just like, yeah, I decided that's why I've been single for 5 years. I decided that this time around it's gonna be the right way. Like, we're gonna be friends first. We're gonna get to know each other first. Everything's gonna be, and we're gonna, like that. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
cuss, but like the stuff that you be seeing on movies and stuff.
Right.
Even though my mentor be like, Laren, this is not a movie.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
but it just be so real though. Like, this is what happened. Like, this
But
is not
you can find somebody, and the first few times you'll think they perfect, and then all of a sudden you be sitting back scratching your head talking about, damn, what happened? This person done changed. No, that person was always like that, but that person there was as they trying to put you in them handcuffs.
Yeah, your boy almost dodged. Not almost. I did, but yeah, somebody tried to get me.
Yeah, and I mean, hey,
Just a couple months ago, but I'm
yeah,
good now. I'm still
yeah,
here.
and like I said, I think we all have been through it, and you say this is the right one. Cause it'd be funny, man. Cause when my parents was living, it was funny. I'll take somebody over to the house, and my mom be all like that, and then I'll take them home, whatever, come back over there, and then my dad was like, "Boy, you're a damn fool." Just like that. I'm like, my
That's
dad,
funny.
and then I'm like, what? He said, look, man, he said, she cool. Your mama like her. I said, but don't think that every woman that your mama like, you gonna like her.
Mm.
And that's what a lot of guys, they feel that way, that their mom has to like that. If the mama starts saying good things about it, you be like, you really don't know her, because mama gonna only see her for a few hours,
Yeah.
and you know they always gonna put on that good impression in front of the parents or their brothers and sisters.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, dad. And my mom was the type that when I went out to talk with my dad, she used to be standing by the kitchen door, and she'd crack open because we couldn't see it, and she'd hear that, and then she said, "Oh, you just keep listening to your dad. You're gonna be by yourself all your life." And I said, "Well, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be."
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So
I don't know. I'm sitting here taking all this in, but what you got for Miss Tina here? Because she wants to know, how does she trust love again without losing herself the next time? Like, what should she do?
she should take some more time and think about the things that is she need to learn how to approach, like I said. And I really don't know, it's hard to say. I just think that she needs to take a little bit more time and try to gather up, and she probably need maybe some counseling, and she needs to learn how. And I just say this because the way she talked about the three things, she probably need to learn how to speak to somebody.
Mm.
First of all, that's the hardest thing, learning how to speak to people and show respect.
I,
And if a person does not, like she said, affection, and it depends on what she mean by affection. Because, like I said, if it's a guy who just want to jump in bed, and then as soon as they meet, that's not the person for her, because she gonna keep being used and by herself. Next thing you know, she gonna have a bunch of kids running around there, and she don't want all of that.
mm-hmm. I say learn how to speak to herself too, because you said learn how to speak to people, learn how to speak to yourself, and know exactly what you gonna put up with and what you're not. And
Exactly.
whatever you decide, what works for you, that works for you. But
Yeah.
stick to your guns, because all this back and forth, when I had standards, there is no when I had. Either you have them or you don't.
Exactly.
That's crazy to me. So yeah. All right. Hopefully we did some justice with Miss Tina here.
Yeah.
I say that this is more of a, I'm gonna take it there and say it's more of a spiritual thing, because it's a combination of spiritual and mental. Because spiritual, and the reason why I say that is because when you don't know who you are and you don't take care of your spiritual self and you don't water that garden, you will allow people to come in and run all over top of you and do things to you that is just unthinkable. And listen, a lot of us have done that. I have done that before. Put
Yeah.
nobody put nobody before God. Like,
Exactly.
have no other gods. And when you put a relationship, when you put a job, when you put money, when you put cars, when you put anything before God, this is an example. You put this relationship, you put this man before him, because look how he was able to come in and have you second guessing yourself. Somebody that has you second guess yourself, they have already occupied too much mental real estate. You've given them too much power. So that's why I say the spiritual side, and then the mental aspect of it is because you're going back and forth and you're questioning yourself and you're going round and round and they're undecisive, and 1 minute this, then next minute that. That's a mental thing.
Yeah.
So good thing that there's no financial issues here, no money being lost. But do we really know that? We don't know. Hell, if he's able to come in and do all of these things, what else could he do?
Yeah. Well, no kids are involved, and that's how I put it with all of them. You know, long if there are no kids involved, then hey, go ahead, because I'm quite sure some of the things she's talked about having kids, and he don't want no kids, and he might say I don't want none with you. That lets you know right there that
Oh man, I know
you
you.
know you know that makes you know right then and there. That should make her know right then and there. But you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, from the things that I've dealt with over the years, and especially since I do a lot of poetry and I do talk to a lot of people. I just it's just a lot of them that they have no respect at all. And I mean, it's sad when somebody you just meet them and they say, "Hey, let's go behind the building. Let's go behind the dumpster." You know,
Wow.
then you be like, "Oh, you have no respect for yourself." That's why I said if you just, you can't even wait till you get at a hotel or at your place. Then hey, that person right there done showed you everything that they have to offer.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So maybe she did some of these things, and that's exactly why he's treating her this way. We have no idea because, again, we only get the surface level stuff, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
I forgot who I was speaking to, but it's that old saying: "Why would he buy the cow when he can get the milk for free?"
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And you don't know some of the things that she's done. That's the thing. Do you know she? That's what she got to look at. She got to look at some of the things she done because she hasn't been right herself. And then she
Hmm.
got, and a lot of these women, like you said, a lot of these women, they run after these guys because they have a nice car or they have jewelry or they pull out a bunch of cash out of their pocket. And a lot of
Hmm.
these women think those guys there, they'll run to them type of guys.
Hmm.
And the guy that he's working hard trying to make a living, trying to keep his name out the newspaper, they'll turn their back on.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's the sad part.
Wow. Well, we tried to help out Miss Tina the best way we can,
Yeah,
and again, listen, we only given our experiences from the things that we've been through in life. We know people, and we've been to places, and we've experienced some things. So again, everyone has to do their own due diligence, and this is not any advice. We're just here to give you our experiences. So
exactly. Don't get me wrong. I've been, like I said, I've been down that road, and you know, I, I'm quite sure that there's somebody that said, "Oh, this is how he did me." I'm not gonna say I didn't because I don't know,
but I
but
guess
hey, it was how you, and I always tell everybody, anybody, I said it's how you present yourself. If you present yourself to for people not to respect you, then how can you expect to have people to respect you? How can
yeah.
you expect this man to be affectionate with you when it doesn't? You know what? It doesn't even take all that.
I know exactly
And
what you mean.
yeah, that's all I said. But you're gonna say he make you step down to his level? Well, whoa, what level is that?
It don't sound like anything good.
E- Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. It's you got to She said he gaslight me. Okay, and you had to step to his level. Okay, so evidently you're going, like I said, going for the jury. Cause I remember back in the day, a lot of female they be and you can hear them talking about the guy who has a nice jerry curl, the guy who had has a nice ride, the guy who, always had money in his pockets, and those are the ones that the females be running to.
Mm-hmm. Like always, right?
Yeah. And I was like, good. That means you won't be bothering me.
Wow. If you, all right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to chime in on tonight's assignment, please go ahead and text me at 609-200-1098. You can also DM me on any of my social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. I believe those are all of the things that you can DM. I believe Twitch too, I'm unsure, but definitely Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Twitch to my knowledge. Now, we're getting ready to get into the last segment of the show, which is burning questions. You can chime in and let me know how you feel about tonight's burning question. Also, this is more for self reflection. So, as we go through, and I know we were helping Miss Tina out here tonight, I want you to take a look at these burning questions and look into your life and see what you can see. Reflect, journal about it, because there's some healing in journaling, there's some healing in self reflection as well. So, I know that we are going through and we are helping others, but this is a moment where we could possibly help you, or you, most importantly, back this thing up. You can help yourself. So, answer these questions as you see fit. Burning question is: can you learn to trust love again without making yourself small to keep it? I'll repeat that again. Can you learn to trust love again without making yourself small to keep it? What do you think, Birdman?
Yes, you can. Voice of experience. you know, because I had got to the point where I didn't think anybody loved me. And it just that was a dark side. And that's why I said when I used my writing, I used music to settle me down, to calm me down. And I feel like, yeah, I found someone who loves me. She tells me this daily. So, I hear it like 400 times a day. And it doesn't bother me. And I know sometimes I'll make faces because I'm doing something and she'll come over, oh, I love you, and want to give me a kiss. And then I had to think about that. And I'm like, man, I better accept this now because I remember,
Hmm.
in the past, I ain't
I
had
know that.
nobody like that.
I know that's right.
And it can go away. Like they said, it can go away in an instant. So
Hmm.
yes, a person have to sit down and they have to think about what they want and how they want it. But man, I say you're gonna fall in love maybe once, twice, three times. Like
Mhm.
Lionel Richie said, once, twice, three times a lady.
Yeah.
you know, and that's how I always took his song as once,
Mhm.
twice, three times a lady. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay, okay. So yeah, yes, you can still find love. No, all joking aside, you can, but that's gonna be on you and you alone. Nobody else can make that decision for you.
Wow, that's a good response. I like that. And I'm taking this advice. I'm listening to everything you say because that is amazing. It was deep though when you said that you thought that nobody loved you, and I will say that I know a lot of people have been there. I know I have been there, and I think the biggest breakthrough with that moment for me was because I didn't love myself.
I was just getting ready to say that I've told so many people that, and I said because when I first met, she'll tell you I was a train wreck just waiting to happen. And then she asked me one day, she said, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Sure." She said, "Do you love yourself?" I said, "Hell no." And then
Mm,
she said, "Okay, this is what I would like for you to do." And I'm like, "What's that?" She said, "Go into the mirror every day and say, you love yourself just the way you are. I did that for 6 months, and it was like it made a change in me. And I knew, and I know that because people start saying, "Hey man, it's something about you, man. It's something about you." But you can't love nobody else if you don't love yourself.
I know that's right.
And I tell people that all the time. Well, if you don't love yourself, how you gonna love somebody else?
Right. And that I used to hear people say it so much and I didn't know what that was. I used to hear people say you gotta love yourself and I didn't know what that was. And I was just
Right.
like, but to this question here, yes, you can learn to trust love again without making yourself feel small. And that is the key to love yourself because when you do and you learn and you actually know what real love is and everything starts with self, you will protect that at all costs and you won't let anybody come in and destroy, like I said, kill, steal, and destroy anything that you worked so hard to establish.
Exactly.
So the fact that she's asking these questions, the fact that this whole letter, which went down this whole trail to get us to where we are here today, clearly is a true indication that there is some serious need for some self love and reflection. And that mirror work is amazing because when you can stare at that mirror and you like what you see that's staring back at you and looking at you, that's an amazing thing.
And the funny part is, she even mentioned that when she said she looked in the mirror and she seen somebody different.
Right.
And right there, then she should have known. So I mean, like I said, when Diana told me that, and I did, and see, and I tell people it's not gonna happen
No.
overnight. So you got to constantly
Hmm.
do it. You got, and even I mean, what, 13 years later, 14 years later, I go, when I look in the mirror, I smile and I say, I love myself. I love you so much.
And you know what? Like you said, you got to keep doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it. And
Right.
yeah, that's an amazing testimony there.
So that's all I tell her. She young, and she gonna have plenty of time to find somebody. What she need to do is find herself.
Mm, absolutely. You will have plenty of time to find somebody, but first of all, you need to find yourself. I like that.
Yeah.
We definitely went in tonight. All right. So, what you got for us as we wrap up here tonight? Now, I forgot to tell you that the last platform we stayed on so long. We stayed on for more than 2 hours that they kicked us off. Yeah.
Really?
So now, not that we have to, stick to a limit, but if we want to be
Yeah.
on a specific platform, which is doing very well right about now, it has to be under 2 hours.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
So
Cool.
we
All
good.
right.
But I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
We had such a deep conversation talking about all types of music and everything, and I'm feeling it. And then when I went to go and check on the scenario, I started doing my research, and they were like, "Nah, you were over the limit of 2 hours." I'm like, "Okay, I got you." That was a great episode too, but it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. 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 Oh no, I don't have right now. I think I have a. Well, I'll do. Like I said, every Wednesday, once I get off of this podcast, and I'm part of the LA Poetry Society now. I always go when they have when they have anything to do, because they have had me as a feature. I'll be on there on Wednesday, later on Wednesday night, which is on Instagram, and then I think tomorrow there's a Zoom meeting. I won't know until tomorrow, but then the rest of the week is just I'm just gonna be working on some new poems. I got some bass beats that I'm gonna put some poetry
Hmm.
to. Then I'm gonna put a background to it, a background that I shot. But really, Amazon.com/Birdman313. You can find all 10 of my books. Goodreads.com, Birdman313. You can find all 10 of my books. Um, my videos are on youtube.com/author poet Birdman31355. Uh, I'm on Spotify under the Coffee, Wine, and Words platform. I forgot to tell you, I just had a video accepted on there, a week ago? Last week, and I have 10 or 11 videos of my videos on there, and I'm on it. Like I said, I am on Instagram, Birdman3135. I think it's 31355 on Instagram, or 313. I just tell a lot of time I just tell people, hey, just Google Birdman313. I'm no longer on Twitter, so if they try to find me on Twitter, they won't. It's not there. But other than that, everything else, you can find me. You can even read. I noticed. I found this out the other day. Last year, they voted me as Poet of the Month, and you can actually go in there and read that article. And a lot of people was like, "Wow, man, you've had an interesting life. You have met some interesting people." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I know the host. She said to me, she said, "I thought I knew you." She said, "But I don't." And I said, "That's the way I want it to be."
Interesting. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah, I know exactly what you.
Because when people think they know you, 8 times out of 10, they're gonna take advantage of you. Not that she was gonna take advantage of me, but I always say 8 times out of 10, if somebody think they want to they say, "I want to get to know you," and I always leave something with, "Nah, you ain't gonna know me completely because I don't know what thoughts you have going on through your mind."
That always takes me back to the book, The 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
Now, and because of that thought, I almost went, oh, okay, that's what I wanted to say. So anyway, so y'all go ahead, please support Birdman313. Next month, you're going to be back. Okay, of course, you're going to be back here every Wednesday, but leading up to next month, we're going to be live here. We're going to turn the lights, camera, action on, so people are going to be able to see you. You were
Okay.
here, what was that, March, where we had lights, camera, action on, and everybody could see you, and we did the interview. So we're going to do another one next month, and
Okay.
you'll be reading poetry again. So I want to let everybody know about that's coming up soon.
Okay.
Also, now you helped me troubleshoot this thing. I know we're going to get out of here soon. You helped me troubleshoot this thing, right? Because I was back and forth with you on the phone trying to get this link together. You and I have been podcasting for about an hour and 40 minutes right now. Do you know that 6 minutes ago they had a nerve to write me back and say, I'm gonna read this to you so you can laugh, and then we're gonna get out of here. They said, circling back to inform you that your reported issue, I'm not gonna report what it was, but it's now been fixed. If you are still experiencing issues as of now, then simply refresh the page and we will push the update to your account to make sure that the problem goes away. If that doesn't help, please let us know. Now, they just said that 6 minutes ago, and we've been sitting here podcasting for an hour and 40 minutes, and we fixed it on our own.
Yeah. Well, sometimes and that's something I've learned, because I do have a degree from ITT. It may not be worth the paper is written on, and there's a lot of times, man. That's what I do. I go through a lot of changes, and I research all the way through, and I just click on till I get it right. And the only time that I will take my computer to the shop is if it's something that I can't do. I mean, I've spent as much as 2 hours on the computer updating the drivers on myself on the computer. It's not easy, but yeah, I had someone to walk me through it, and they said, "Well, okay, how much do you know?" I said, just go ahead and start talking, and I've done it myself. Now, if it's something that I can't do, then yes, I'll take my computer in and have it worked on. But most of the time, I can do it myself. And I've helped other people, when they need help, or I just tell them, "Hey, man, take it to the shop."
Well, listen.
Or learn, Google it and learn how to do these things. So You don't have to be spending money.
Well, I give it up to all of the IT people. Um, I'm not an IT person. These computers sometimes will make me just want to do backflips. I was over it last week, but shout out to Best Buy because I love Best Buy because they help me
Yeah,
out.
and that's like if I'm having an issue, Diana will say to me, "Oh, that's all right. Just take a break and go back to it. You'll get it done. You'll get it done." And I'm like, damn, she got more faith in me than I have in myself. And then I'll go back and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it done. Or if she has an issue with she has a desktop. I have laptops.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
she'll say, "Oh," she said, "I got this problem here." I'll go, a lot of time I say, "Okay," and a lot of times she'll ask her son and her daughter, and if they don't have time, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it for you." I go back there and I'm like, "Hey, you got it?" And she was like, "Yeah." It's like right now she's, how Google they want you to pay extra for extra space. When you get what 15 gigabytes free, and I told her, I said, I mean, hey, I can clean that up for you. I know how to do it now
Mm.
because I do it on my computers all the time.
All right. Well, I know who to reach out when I have the next problem. 'Cause, listen, I was over it last week.
Yeah, sometime it can get
Nah,
like that.
it needed to be done. I knew that I needed an upgrade since last year, but I was just basically pushing it off. So, and I spoke about
Yeah,
that the other night. What is not an emergency today? If you keep doing things and neglecting things, it can turn into an emergency.
exactly.
Yeah, and I learned that the hard way. So thank God
Yeah,
that we didn't lose
yeah,
anything. Everything's good. There was no.
yeah.
Like I said, I knew that this was coming. So behind the scenes, I started saving stuff and downloading stuff and backing up stuff on, little by little by little, and it actually was a pretty easy transition. So yeah.
You know what you can do, man? You can actually back get you an external hard drive. I have four external hard drives.
See,
And what I do is I save all my stuff on there, and the stuff like I'm like, okay, I don't want this, and that. I just go ahead and delete it.
yeah, see, you're talking to a minimalist, and less is more for me today. Right now, I don't even want the stuff that I got. I'm trying to figure out how do I make less. How do I have less?
Yeah,
So yeah.
but that's just me. I learned that because when I was in school, I almost messed up. I had a work computer, which I gave to my son that's in San Antonio, and I almost messed that up because I'm like, I can't download. This guy came over. He said, "Let me see something." He said, "Man, you don't have no space." He said, "Man, you getting ready to." He said, "Man, your computer getting ready to shut down because once it get in the red, if you go and check how much space you have left." He said, once it get in the red, that means you got too much and it's shut down any day. Now I make sure none of my computers, because I have four laptops, believe it or not. One of them I travel with, one I only do videos with, one I write with, and the other one, that's why I do everything else on. And I also always make sure them hard drives are not full.
Mm, that's exactly what happened to me. It got into the red. Yeah, yep, I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. All right, we're gonna make it a wrap so we can get out of here under our time and get our stuff
Yeah,
posted.
okay, man.
So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you as always. Great show. Thank you for hanging in there. I know we made it a little late tonight, but we made it work, and I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so next week, same place, same time, different, same
Yeah.
place, same time, different wine.
Oh, yes.
All right, take care. Have a good night.
You do the
All right,
same.
take care now.
Okay. Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was author Birdman 313. Please go ahead and support. He has so many books, which is amazing. I'm glad to know somebody who continuously pushes themselves to put out content over and over and over again, such as Birdman 313. And what a great inspiration. So, somebody like me who's been doing this for 5 years, Birdman 313 has been doing this for so many years. I don't know the exact count, but his books when he speaks about it, when he's on here, he speaks about it. He lets you know that, yeah, I've been doing this for a minute. This ain't nothing new. And I want to get to that point where, several years from now, still podcasting, we on disc 5 now. I want to get to the point where we be like, yeah, we on disc like 25. How about that? Like, that's when I think that, not that I ever want to act like I get to a place where I made it, but I'm thankful for 5 years. I'm thankful for all of the bumps and bruises that we made, but that is amazing. Amazing. And I look at his poetry. I have a few of his books, and that's great. And there's more coming. That's the thing. There's more coming. So such a great inspiration. And as you come back here on the 401 podcast, Reading Between the Lines, that is exactly the type of company that I want to keep here on the show. People who will inspire you, people who will encourage you, the real. Because we've had plenty of guests on here, and some of them were real and some of them were fake, and I had to clean some things up, and we don't do that no more. So as a result, I found my passion and I found my purpose, and that was in financial coaching. And that is the twist of this whole podcast. That's the twist of this whole show. Real life scenarios, helping people out through the financial aspect of it. Debt-free living. I found out about debt-free living and just went bonkers, just went berserk, just went like all over the top for it, and I was amazed by it. A little pissed off in the beginning when I found out, oh, really? This has been in the Bible all this time and I didn't know, and the schools didn't teach you this stuff, and the teachers say stuff on purpose, and the school system is rigged to keep us stuck, and the job system and everything they got set up that they promise us is sometimes a joke. For real? So I got a little upset about it, but then I realized that this is not for everybody, and when God gives you something that's not for everybody to see, it's only for a select few individuals. And that's where the purpose came in, and that's where the plan came in, to help inspire, educate, and encourage other people who hit that point, because not everybody's going to hit it. Not everybody's going to get it. And that's where we're at with Black Diamond Consultations. And again, I have to thank the Most High for giving me this vision, and it's my gift to each and every one of you as the gift has been given to me. So for those of you who are ready, head on over to LarenGaines.com if you are interested in any type of more information on debt-free living. I focus on debt-free living from the spiritual, mental, physical, financial realm. You can also sign up for a free 15-minute consultation. You can also sign up for my monthly newsletter, which is called Whispers of Wisdom, which should be released next week for the month of August. And again, more valuable information is available at LarenGaines.com. You can text me or DM me on any of my social media platforms. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for a great, amazing show tonight. Thank you, Birdman313. And on that note, I will see you when I see you. Stay tuned across all social media platforms. And we'll be back. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And I'm going to finish up the rest of this Brambleberry wine, which is amazing. And we're going to get out of here. Thank you. Good night.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap on today's episode of the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines, where growth is always on the menu, and every pour reveals a little more truth. The conversation doesn't end here. Have something to say? Want to weigh in on tonight's burning questions? Text us anytime at the official 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines hotline at 609-200-1098. Stay plugged in across all social media platforms at Laren Gaines. We're live and in the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, and Dailymotion. Prefer to listen on the go? The audio version is streaming on most major podcast outlets. Until we meet again, take what you've learned, sip slow, speak truth, and remember, transformation starts within. Powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network.